So today on GBP I'll show you here, I was really interested in seeing this come higher. Now, I've been watching this all week. As you can see, we have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Let me turn my marker on here. There we go. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, separated with these vertical dotted lines. I'm going to turn off the green horizontal lines. Those are ADR markers. We just don't need those today. What I was looking at was from the start of the week, we saw this move to the downside. Once we broke through the 50 EMA here on Monday and the 200 EMA at about 10:30, 11 o'clock New York time, I knew that this had the potential at some point, either later on Monday or into Tuesday or today, to come to the 800 EMA. But once we hit that 800 and showed support at like 150.88, 150.80, it's that price level, pretty significant there, especially if you go back into last week, you can see how much we consolidated at that 150.80 level. Coming back to that, being in an overall uptrend, yesterday I thought that we could see it hold the 800 and move higher. So when I woke up this morning and we saw it move higher yesterday and overnight this morning, or last night, I woke up and kept that long bias. I still wanted to see GJ come higher. Really quick, I'll just show you guys. If we go to the 1 hour, the 1 hour itself isn't super long biased. You see how the TDI is actually moving towards the sell zone? However, if we simplify price action by just getting rid of some of these EMAs that we don't need. So what I'm going to do is go like this, go like this. Let's just look at the 50, the 21, and the 8, just to keep it simple. Last night, we broke over the 50, held above that blue 50, and looked like we were going to move off of it again today to continue the uptrend that we've seen going back the last couple of months. If you watched my recent trade recap videos, you know I traded GJ long last week. You can see the strong uptrend here on the daily time frame, holding the 8 EMA almost every day. Very, very bullish. So we're going to continue to be long biased until this tells me not to be. So back to the 15-minute. Again, because of the move overnight, because of us holding the higher time frame EMAs, I thought, okay, this looks like it could set up for a long idea. When we had the price action pull back to the 50 EMA here at about 6 o'clock in the morning, on the 1 minute, I was able to go down and identify, let me turn on my other EMAs again. I was able to go down and identify divergence that sets up a potential risk-reward signal. Now, this is where awareness comes in, okay? So what we're piecing together here is a D1 entry. This is one of the 3 signals that I teach in our courses. We only focus on the 3 systems that I've backtested and that I've proven to be profitable. The A1, the D1, and the D2. The D2 is more of a reversal trade. We talk about that in a couple of videos, but most often I'm talking about D1s and A1s. So today, with this divergence, that's starting to set me up for a 1-minute entry for a D1 setup. Now, the 15-minute, again, at that 1-minute divergence point, we're sitting right here on the 50 EMA, which is a really strong level if we're in an uptrend for me to buy it off of, find risk reward off of, and see us move higher. But what ends up happening, if we go back to the 1 minute, is that entry doesn't end up presenting until about 7:20, 7:30, as it looks like it could potentially come higher off the 50 EMA here on the 1 minute. But why I held myself out of the trade, even though my awareness was telling me that I wanted to be in the trade, I held myself out because I couldn't identify a stop loss level. I didn't want to take my position long here and put my stop here at only 8 pips. I knew that it could still test that level before moving higher, and it holds that level for a pretty solid amount of time, from 8 o'clock till 10:30. It's not until 10:30, 11 o'clock does it fall through that level. So this was a support level, but I didn't want to trust it with my stop because it just wasn't confirmed yet. Maybe after we had another test of that price level, maybe then I would be more willing to. That's normally what I look for. But with this being so quick, I didn't want to trust that. So that was the first option for the stop loss. The second option was putting it down here 25 pips away. And the reason why I didn't want to do that is because if we do set that 25 pip stop in, you can see it would have stopped me out. But if we do that, you have to look for ADR to see what your potential risk reward would be. 24, 25 pip stop, I'm just barely getting 2R if we move ADR. Now, not every day does it move ADR. Some days it doesn't even move ADR at all. Some days it's smaller than 88 pips. And that's why we have to monitor ADR as we trade. But because I couldn't find good risk reward, I didn't take the trade today. But I was very aware of the fact that I wanted to be long biased. So the trick here, and this is where we'll get into a couple of tips on how to deal with being more aware in your trading, feeling that feeling of, oh, I want to be in this trade. I know this could come higher today. I want to be in it, but I don't get my trigger signal. What that is called is having a bias, leaning in a direction that you think it should move, but not getting the system, what you've back tested, what you've proven profitable, not getting that trigger to present itself. And that's what we had here. So when you're aware of your feelings and you're using a trading plan or using a trading journal, whatever you're using as you trade to go down your checklist of questions before you enter. Even if you feel like you want to be in the trade, you have to be logical and be aware enough to say, hey, this doesn't fit my rules. This doesn't fit an entry signal. Maybe you don't have bias and signal lining up together. Whatever the reason may be, you have to be able to separate, like I said, like be an observer, so to speak, of that feeling of I want to trade. If you can see that feeling as just something that is coming to you in the moment, you can then divert yourself back to those rules, back to that checklist and say, this feeling is temporary. I'm not even going to feel this in an hour or 2 hours. What I need to do is stick to the rules, because this plan, I'm looking down, it's where I used to keep my trading plan. Now it's in my journal right here. This plan is what's going to keep you consistent when those emotions are like a roller coaster. So you have to be able to just be aware of it. Don't try to suppress your emotions. Don't try to put them away. Be aware of it, observe it. You can even journal it, write it down. That helps a lot of people, especially at first if you're just doing this for the first time. And then divert yourself back to the trading plan. Print out the trading plan, the entry rules. And if it doesn't fit, you can't click the button. Just because you think it's going to move higher, that is not a reason to take a trade. And one other thing I think you can do, two other things I'll give you would be, first, pull yourself off the desk. As soon as I felt that feeling of, I want to be in this, don't have a signal, I know that, but I want to be in this, maybe I should just buy it. As soon as I have that thought, as soon as I have that feeling, I pull myself off the desk. So today, me and Riley went for a walk. I came back. I saw that GJ hadn't moved. I felt good that I didn't just jump in it because there was no signal. And I went to the gym and went on with my day. And now I'm back to film the recap to share this with you guys.